Welcome to Tax990, a simple and secure way for nonprofits to file Form 990. Today we're going to walk through the overall workflow of filing a Form 990 EZ. This is the annual return many smaller nonprofit organizations file with the IRS. The goal of this walkthrough is to help you understand how the form flows, what each section is meant to accomplish, and how all the pieces fit together. After logging into your Tax990 account, begin by adding your organization. You can search by entering the organization's legal name or its employer identification number. When you search using the EIN, Tax990 securely retrieves the organization's information directly from the IRS database, including details from the previous year's filing. This helps pre-populate key data and streamline the setup process. Once the information is retrieved, carefully review all organization details, including the name, address, tax-exempt status, and other identifying information, and make any necessary updates or corrections before moving forward. Based on your organization's filing history, you can proceed to file Form 990 EZ for the current tax year by clicking Continue to File. You'll then have the option to switch between tabs to select the appropriate tax year you need to file for. Additionally, if your organization's financial status has changed during the year, you may need to file one of the other Form 990 series returns listed. Tax990 will display the available filing options based on IRS requirements. If your organization qualifies to file Form 990 EZ for the selected year, you may proceed by clicking Start Filing. Before you can continue, Tax990 will ask you to confirm that your organization meets all eligibility requirements to file Form 990 EZ. This step ensures compliance with IRS guidelines and verifies that the correct form is being used. After confirming eligibility, you will be given a choice between two filing methods: an interview-based approach that guides you step-by-step with structured questions, or a form-based approach that mirrors the official IRS form layout for direct data entry. For this demonstration, we'll continue by selecting the form-based filing option. The form begins with basic identifying information. This is where you confirm the organization's name, address, tax-exempt status, accounting method, and tax year. This section sets the stage and tells the IRS exactly who is filing the return and for which period. After that, the form moves into Part 1, which focuses on money coming in and money going out during the year. This is where you summarize your total donations, grants, program income, fundraising income, and any investment income. You then summarize your major expenses, such as grants you've made, compensation, rent, and other operating costs. By the end of this section, the form shows whether your organization finished the year with more money than it started with or less. It also calculates your ending net assets, which is essentially what your organization has left at year end. Next is Part 2, called the balance sheet. This section is a snapshot of your organization's financial position. It shows what you owned and what you owed at the beginning of the year and again at the end of the year. Most small organizations list cash, possibly some equipment, and usually little or no debt. One important thing to remember is that the ending balance in this section should agree with the ending net assets you reported in Part 1. Part 3 is where the form becomes less about numbers and more about your mission. This is where you describe what your organization actually did. You explain your main programs and services, who they helped, and how your resources were used to carry out your mission. The IRS is not looking for marketing language here. They want a clear, plain language explanation of your work and its impact. Part 4 asks for information about your organization's leadership. You list your officers, directors, trustees, and any key employees. Even if no one is paid, they are still listed. If compensation is paid, it is reported here. This section helps the IRS understand who is responsible for overseeing the organization. Part 5 is a series of yes or no questions. This section acts as a compliance check. The questions cover topics like whether the organization had unrelated business income, made major changes to its governing documents, engaged in political activities, or had certain financial relationships. Many small nonprofits answer no to most of these questions, but it's important to read each one carefully. If you answer yes, you may need to provide an explanation on another schedule. Part 6 applies to organizations that are classified as 501c3 charities. This section includes additional questions related to lobbying, schools, related organizations, and high levels of compensation. It also confirms whether required schedules, including Schedule A, have been completed. This is where Schedule A becomes essentially important. Schedule A is used to show the IRS that your organization is a publicly supported charity rather than a private foundation. In simple terms, the IRS wants to see that your organization is supported by the general public and not just a small number of donors. When you complete Schedule A, you first confirm the type of public charity your organization is. Most community-based nonprofits choose the category that applies to organizations receiving broad public support. Once that is selected, Schedule A walks you through a summary of your support over several years. You will enter totals for donations and contributions, along with certain types of income such as interest or fundraising proceeds. The schedule looks at your support over time and calculates a public support percentage. If that percentage is high enough, which it often is for donation-supported nonprofits, you simply check a box indicating that that organization qualifies as publicly supported. For many organizations, that completes Schedule A. Once you've completed all parts of the form and any required schedules, the next step is to click Proceed to audit and transmit. This allows you to review the organization's information and form details to make sure everything is accurate and complete. After reviewing the information, click Review, and Tax990 will automatically run an audit check to identify any missing information or potential errors. If no issues are found, click Next to move forward. At this point, Tax990 gives you the option to securely share the return with the organization's board members or other authorized individuals for review and approval before filing. This step is helpful for transparency and oversight, but if you need to file quickly, you may choose to skip it and continue. Before the return can be electronically filed, IRS rules require an authorized signature on Form 8453-TE, which grants permission to e-file Form 990-EZ. Tax990 prepares this form for you automatically. You can either sign the form yourself or request signing authority from the appropriate officer. If you're signing the form yourself, simply click e-sign and follow the on-screen prompts to adopt and sign Form 8453-TE. Form 8453-TE. Once the signature is complete, click Complete e-sign, then select Next to review a summary of your filing fee and the services included. Finally, proceed to complete your payment and transmit the return to the IRS. With built-in audit checks, guided e-signatures, and secure filing, Tax990.com makes filing Form 990-EZ straightforward, accurate, and stress-free. To get started or file your return today, visit Tax990.com.